Yo, what up, what up, what up? So we got another gameplay review today. This is another game we're doing. This one is a trapper game, and it is on Blood Lodge. I believe this guy may be on, oh yeah, it literally says on the top right, PS4. So, yeah, this is on console. I saw that it had like the console inputs, so I wasn't sure if it was somebody playing with a controller on PC or if it was like actual console play, but it looks like it's actual console play, so this should be interesting. So reviewing a trapper game is going to be weird because I think it depends a lot on like, I feel like trapper is a killer where it depends a lot on like the tendencies of the survivors you're playing against, and I don't really know like how people play on PS4 or if it's any different than the way people play on PC, but I'm just going to try to review this the best I can considering you know, I play on PC. So this game is played at rank, he's rank 5, and the survivors are like all red rank. They're like rank 2, and then I think there's like 3 rank 4s. So first off, let's just do the thing we always do. Just coming right out of the gate, let's talk about your build. So you're running Save the Best for Last, Pop Goes the Weasel, Lightborn, which is interesting, and Dying Light. This build is very odd. I like these 2 perks. I enjoy these 2 perks. I do not like these 2 perks. Now, keep in mind, when I critique perks, this is my preference, and I don't necessarily think that this is like a 100% like what I say is law, because I think perks a lot of the time just work around your preference, right? Like for instance, I don't run Save the Best for Last or Pop Goes the Weasel myself ever. They don't really like, they don't really work well for me in how I play the game, but I know that they're good perks, right? But there's definitely some instances of perks that I think are just generally not very good. Dying Light definitely can be good in certain situations. And Lightborn is, oh man, Lightborn, I will never stop saying that Lightborn is just a waste of a perk slot. Like, I'm assuming these guys had flashlights, but a lot of the times when people have flashlights, you can bait them into getting themselves killed more often than not if you know what you're doing. And Lightborn is, like, don't get me wrong, it will give you free hits sometimes if people try to blind you at pallets and stuff, but to me, I just feel like there's more valuable perks to be had there. I do want to say that Dying Light, and especially Dying Light alone with no other like early game slowdown, is kind of weird for Trapper, because Trapper is an early game killer, right? Like, you need to take time to set traps and kind of set up, so you're probably going to lose a gen or 2 just doing that. And then by the time you start to get stacks of Dying Light, the game is most likely going to be almost over. So like, you're not probably going to get much value out of it. Dying Light should be a perk that is combined with like other early game slowdown perks like Corrupt Intervention and probably even like Thanatophobia, just to get even more value stacked on top of it. Just slapping it on a build alone like this is really weird, and I feel like it's probably not going to end up doing much for you. Although I love Pop. Pop's a great slowdown perk, and Save the Best for Last can definitely be good on Trapper too. So I don't know. We'll just see. We'll see like how much these perks do for you throughout the game. But right off the bat, I already feel some type of way about the build. Oh, also your add-ons. You're running Trapper Bag. This makes it so you start with 1 extra trap, and you could also carry up to 3. So you start with 2 instead of 1, and you can go to a maximum of 3. And setting tools just makes you set traps faster. So anyway, let's do it. So you spawn up, and you immediately set a trap in grass right in front of that pallet, which is probably a good place. I think something that's important to talk about is whether you're going to place traps like directly under the pallets or whether you're going to put them around the loops, right? Like, are you going to position them in places where they're going to loop into them? Okay, you're just trapping this window. All right. That's not a terribly strong window. Like, I maybe would have put a trap at Shack instead, but you know, it's okay. I don't think any, as long as you're basically shutting down a tile, I think it's a fine trap. So I'm not gonna like critique your trap placement or anything. So as long as you're putting them in like a valuable place, and as long as you're shutting down a tile, I think it's good, you know, which you did both of those. And then you immediately start. Okay, yes, perfect. I was actually about to say something that was really smart. So just to talk about what you just did there, that was good. This pallet sucks. So this is an important thing to know as killer. This pallet right here fucking sucks. It's trash. So like when a survivor throws it like this, you should just be immediately going around, because like this wall, like this wall is so small. Like, you see how small this is? Like, the second they throw it, you can immediately start going around. Honestly, you reacted to this kind of slow. If she would have just held W, she actually would have got some distance on you, but she like, I don't know, like fumbled about and ended up getting hit anyway. But in a situation like that, you really should be like immediately just turning around and going around it, because that pallet sucks. You pick up this trap. Okay. Okay, she tried to blind you, but you have Lightborn, so get fucked. I mean, I'm not even gonna talk about that. We already know what happened. You just swung too early. That was just really unfortunate. That was very, very unfortunate. It was a really interesting strategy of just like placing a trap as they get to the pallet, because it basically shuts down the pallet, which is interesting. Like, it's not a terrible play, although that Jeff is probably gonna go back and just disarm it. It was a Jeff, right? Whoever that dude was that you chased away is probably just gonna go back and disarm it. So you ended up not really getting that much value out of it, but it's an interesting concept. She saw that trap, so she's gonna... You didn't bait the dead hard, man. Oh, you didn't bait the dead hard. Oh, that's such a simple mistake, but it's gonna cost you so much. That sucks. So she ran up here and she saw that it was trapped, and she's like, oh shit, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck. All you had to do here was just wait for dead hard. Like, it's really, really safe to assume that if the survivor you're chasing hasn't used any exhaustion yet, and she hasn't, we haven't seen her use anything. If you haven't like visually seen them sprint burst or lithe or balance landing or anything, or if they haven't like head on stunned you, it's really, really, really safe to assume that every single person that hasn't done those things is gonna have dead hard. So in a situation like this, you should always wait to swing. Like, it's a very predictable, they're gonna dead hard. Like, the only thing that stops you from downing the survivor right now is swinging and missing because of dead hard. And that's exactly what happened. Like, if she dead harded and you didn't swing, you still would have got it. Like, she wouldn't have made it to that pallet. But because of that, she did make it to the pallet, and then she throws it. And now you're getting looped for longer, and they're getting more gens done. And yeah, this is rough. Like, she's kind of just throwing every pallet. Like, they're gonna run out of pallets soon, but again, this isn't really good for Trapper, because Trapper, like, you kind of need the early game pressure, you know? There you go, you get the down. That was good. They finished a gen behind you. You got 2 stacks. You can pick them up, no fucks given. You don't gotta worry about flashlights. You got Lightborn. You're fucking completely immune. Throw her up on the hook. And you got one dying light, baby. But dude, 3 gens. See, there you go. That's kind of what I'm talking about. Like, oh man, early game as Trapper is rough. It is rough, dude. Like, you kind of like, that's why like dying light, it's so weird. Like, you got 1 dying light stack, but there's only 2 gens left now. So like, what's even the point? This trap placement's weird. I feel like you're just setting that trap to make her run away, which I guess is not like a terrible play. Like, you're kind of okay. One thing I want to say, if you're setting traps to actually shut down the loop for like the future, this is not a good trap placement. Okay, let me explain. Okay, so you can see this loop, right? Like, here's the pallet, and then here's like, you know, the structure around the pallet with like the gen and all that shit, right? So like, when a survivor is looping, we'll make the survivor, I don't know, purple. They do this, right? They like loop around, right? So ideally, if you want to set a trap to like shut down the loop, while also not, well, yeah, if you want to set that, you want to set it in a place where it's not going to get disarmed, is what I'm trying to say. Like, you set it like right here, like right in front of the pallet. It's not hidden by grass or anything. Anybody that's running to the pallet can just look and be like, oh shit, there's a trap there. Let's not take this pallet, right? If instead, you see how there's grass right here? There's, do I have green? Like, there's grass right here, okay? So instead of putting the trap like out there where like they can see it, you can instead slip that bitch in here, you know? Bam, bear trap. That's supposed to be a bear trap. Whatever, close enough. Instead, you can slip that bitch in the grass. So that way, whenever someone does run to this pallet, once they decide to try to loop it, right? Like, if they try to do the thing where they like loop around it, they'll literally loop right into it and they'll go right to it. It keeps it hidden so they can't see it, but it also effectively shuts down the loop, because if they try to loop it at all, then you're good, right? And like, if you get there and they throw the pallet, you like as a killer, you can just run. Okay, so for instance, like, this is basically like shaped like this, right? There's like this side, and then there's also like this side over here, right? So as a killer, if they throw this pallet down, you can just loop this way and force them to go around, right? Like, you can basically force them into the pallet, if that makes sense. Into the pallet, into the trap, I mean. Sorry, ignore myself accidentally clicking on Steam. And that's, yeah, so like, that's a lot better than this. Like, that's a lot better than just throwing it down right here in the open where they can clearly see it and they're probably going to disarm it. Although there was, okay. But I will say, if you're trying to bait a survivor into leaving the tile, there's a whole separate mind game you can do. If all you want is like, if you want this dude to run away like he is, what you can do is you can start to set the trap. Like you can basically do just this. You can tap M2 and like bend over to make it look like you're gonna set the trap, and then instantly cancel it. Just instantly let go and then start chasing her. And a lot of the times that'll give you free hits because the survivor will see you like bending over and starting to set the trap, and then they're like, oh shit, he's trapping it. I gotta leave. And then you can just like release it and then instantly start chasing him. That gets you hits a lot, like more often than people realize. It's a really good little mind game to practice on Trapper. And it's definitely worth trying. But the way you played that, I feel like you just did neither one. Like you either could have baited him into leaving, or you could have like shut down the tile. And I feel like you kind of did neither. Like you kind of shut down the tile, but they're probably just going to disarm it. Like someone's probably going to disarm that trap. If they see it, you know, if anyone goes over there and sees it, it's pretty much disarmed. So what are you going to do here? Are you going to trap this one too? You kind of look like it. Nope. I saw you were looking down. I thought you were going to walk up and trap it again. So you made it to that pallet, and yeah, so this is kind of rough because you're not getting any pressure, you're not getting any downs. You kick that pallet with you kick that generator with Pop. I can't talk today. You kick that generator with Pop goes the weasel, and then you let that one guy get away, which is pretty unfortunate. They're on this gen, which you have this pallet trapped, but she's just gonna run away too. Well, the Nia's here. Okay. Hey, there you go. See, that one was in grass, so that one works out really well. You get her down, nice. Oh, you're gonna pick her up on her pallet. Are you gonna do it? You're doing it. We didn't really check to see if there's anyone nearby, but it doesn't seem like it. So you get another hook here. That's good. You got more stacks. That was also really smart of you to hit her while she was trapped to get more stacks to save the best for last, rather than picking her up. Is really smart. You're gonna kick this with Pop, which is really good. Regress it. Nice. See, that's good. Now you got 2 stacks of Dying Light as well, which isn't great. Again, like that's barely any debuff at all, but better than nothing, you know. You throw a trap at Shack window. Now you have a decent bit of traps down now. So this is pretty good, honestly. I'm really surprised that they haven't been disarmed. A couple of your traps are kind of just in the wide open. What the hell is going on right now? You gave her no, don't kick it, Oh, this is a bad play. Oh, that's a really bad play. Okay. This is a big mistake that I see new killers making all the time. Is they prioritize gen kicking like way too much. In this situation, kicking this gen is not worth it, okay? So like I don't know what happened here. She was like doing the gen, and then you got dedicated servered. You went to grab her, and the servers were like, "What's that? You want to grab a psych, dumbass? I don't think so." And then it made you like shoulder rubber instead. And then she like, I guess she was like 99% healed because then she self-cared in your face. And then you hit her, which that whole thing was just fuck it. Like what? Like, what even just happened? That was just confusing. But anyway, there's an injured survivor right there, and she's running towards a tile that you have trapped. Like that's a good chase to take. That's a very good chase. You should go after that chase, right? Like you don't even have Pop goes the weasel up. On top of that, a survivor literally just walked away over this way. So even after you kick this gen, that guy's probably just going to come right back and then work on it, right? He's going to come right back and then tap this and stop the regression. This is not worth the time investment. Like the amount of distance that this Nia is getting right now, like she was probably like, I don't know, 12 meters away from you. After this kick, after you standing still and kicking this gen and letting her run away, she's now like 40 meters away. She's gone. She's in fucking Narnia, dude. Like now that's a terrible chase to take, you know? You basically gave up on a good chase to get like a tiny bit of regression on a generator. Like that's not worth it at all. That's a huge mistake that I see people making all the time, where they basically just are so like desperate to like regress gens, but they don't really realize that getting downs is more valuable, right? Like if you would have downed that Nia, that would have went way further. Like look, it's already done regressing. There you go. It ain't regressing. Like you got no value out of that. You basically gave up on a potential down. Like right now, instead of being where you are, you could have had a down and someone on a hook right now, right? Like that's where you could have been had you chased that Nia. But instead, you have nothing right now. You have nothing. That gen barely regressed. You're like chasing a full health guy. They disarmed a couple of your traps, which, you know, again, I kind of said earlier that was probably going to happen. Your traps are, again, like in kind of predictable places. They're like directly under the pallet. The one by Shack is just directly under the window. They're in like very predictable spots, right? Like once you know you're against a trapper, you're going to look in these spots. Okay, you predict that vault, which is really good. You get the down. That was a good play, though. That was a good play. You lost like all your stacks to save the best for last, which is rough. And that's, again, that's why I don't like running that perk, because now you have no more stacks of that perk, which sucks. So You know, you're kind of like a 3-perk killer momentarily. Also, they did that gen, and that gen that you kicked earlier is almost done. So they basically almost have all the gens done already. But you get a hook on him. And you're going to go over here. No dying light stack because he was the obsession, which is pretty unfortunate. Hey, you can kick this with pop, which is pretty nice. See, like, this is... Like, that's a good time to kick when you have pop, right? Like, if you would have had pop the first time, I wouldn't have gone on your shit, but... Oh, this gen's practically done too, though, so it's kind of pointless. All right, you're just going to reset this trap, which is like... Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. Like, you... I guess that pallet is now unusable until someone disarms it, but, like, if you chase her away, someone's just going to end up disarming it. So even that's kind of like... At that point, I feel like it might have just been worth it to just kick the pallet, you know? But you're chasing this knee away. She's probably going to double back. You know that. So you double back. Good. See, like, the way you play tiles, like the way you do, like, little movement like that is good. That's very good. Instead of just holding W, you kind of hit him with, like, a back and forth and, like, predict them. And even right there, like, you hit her at the pallet loop. Like, you play tiles really well, honestly. Like, your chasing doesn't seem like it's that bad. And you need to take more advantage of that. Like, the fact that you're not that bad at chases should be your strong point, you know? So let's see what goes on now. You're going to come over here. That gen might have... I'm guessing that other gen was still regressing. I didn't quite see. But you're going to come over and hit this with pop. Actually, did you ever kick that other gen? You probably should have got that other gen because it was way more done. Did you ever kick it? I can't remember. You're chasing this Nancy. I mean, if it was regressing, then disregard me. If the other gen was already regressing, then don't even worry about it. I can't. Yo, okay. I called her Nancy. This Cheryl skin that looks like Lisa. I don't know why. I always get it mixed up with Nancy because I'm really dumb. The Cheryl. You hit the Cheryl. You hit the Lisa. She's running away. All your traps are disarmed. So you're basically just man with machete right now. She runs right into you again. She hasn't used an exhaustion, so watch for dead hard. Happened earlier, but she's not going to make it anywhere this time. So that one wasn't that big of a deal. That wasn't as bad as last time where they made it to the pallet. So I'm not going to give you too much shit. See, even here, like, these guys were going for dumb flashlight plays. You could have just hit them, like, before picking up, you know? Like, I know you have Lightborn and you're basically immune to flashlights, but you could have just hit them just to get free hits, you know? Before picking up. Either way, you down her, they do the last gen, and are we resorting to face camping? Hey, you got a trap. Go get in there, slugger. Go get in there. Oh, and she's out. And we're going back to face camping. Okay, back to face camping. So this is like a... I don't like this play, but, like, I also understand it. Because you still do have traps around the map. The doors aren't even open yet, right? Like, you can still try to kill other people before they open doors. Like, there's still plays to be had. You don't necessarily need to just give up yet. But at the same time, I understand because you're basically like, yeah, I'm realistically not going to get a kill if I run around and chase people. I just want one kill at least. So I'm going to sit here and guard this hook, and then if somebody unhooks, I'm going to, like, kill them and put them on the hook. Like, I get the idea behind it. It's like a desperation, like, let me just get one kill before the game ends type thing. I don't personally like this play, but I see where it comes from, so I'm not going to give you too much shit for it. You're backing up. What are you doing now? That's a really weird trap placement. That is a really weird... What is that trap placement? I don't understand. This one blocks a window. I'm guessing that was that trap placement trying to catch people off that vault that window, I guess? I think you were trying to place that at the other side of that window, but I think you set it too far. This was a really weird trap. Like, yeah, like the window was behind you. I guess, like, maybe if they vault the window then try to loop it, you're trying to catch them out on the loop, which makes sense. I mean, that might work if they try to loop that window. So that might work. That's just a really weird trap. Anyway, let's go back to you standing here and watching this guy die. They disarmed it, which is really no surprise. It was right out in the open, not covered by anything. Wait, sorry. All right, I'll stop skipping. Face camping gameplay. I just don't really know what else to say. I was just going to skip ahead. This guy comes up to try to get the unhook, and he takes a hit and then runs away, so no unhook to be found. You're kind of like just wandering around the hook, seeing if you can find anybody nearby. The other dude healed, not the obsession, not the guy you just hit. The other guy healed. They're all out here. Not all of them. You're missing somebody. So yeah, you let them get the unhook. See, like that's like this is weird to me. This is weird. I don't understand this. Like, why did you not do this sooner? Like when you first hooked her, like how long ago was that? That was like a whole minute ago. That was like longer than a minute ago. Like the doors weren't done yet. If you were planning on like not face camping this hook, you could have left right now and tried to stop them from opening the doors. Like you still had an objective to defend, you know? But instead you face camp her for like a whole minute and like let them get the doors open basically. And then after like a minute, you decide to stop face camping? And then you decide to go after somebody? Like maybe you just like didn't realize that the last guy was still missing. I don't know, but it's just a very weird choice that now is the time that you stop face camping. I don't get it. Because now that whole face camp was basically for nothing. You try to get a hit on him with the old bloodluster on the pallet, but you don't get it. If his teammates body block for him, he's basically out. Yeah, it looks like they are. Well, there's that trap. Nope, he must know. He went around it. You can try to go around her, maybe. Yeah, you could probably take the ramp. Oh, dunketh on thine Jeffrey. Dunketh on thine Jeffrey. You can pick him up without any fear of flashlights because Lightborn, great perk. And they're gonna try desperately to save him. Probably body blocking. Probably gonna try to get some borrowed time unhook plays. We'll see what they do. They might be able to save him. If they play it perfectly, they'll be able to save him, and there won't be much you can do about it. But we'll see how they play. You hook him and you're looking around. Okay, the Nia's over there. At this point, basically the only thing that can save that guy if you decide to face camp is if they unhook with borrowed time, and then somebody also like takes a hit before the unhook to kind of let them get the unhook without taking a hit. Like they need the whole team to be there taking hits and getting the unhook, and then, you know, body blocking on the way out. And I don't know if these guys are going to be good enough to do that. If you walk up and you hit that Nia, see, like right there, if somebody had borrowed time, like if the full health guy had borrowed time and he unhooked right there, they could have saved him, but did not look like he was. So I think you're just going to camp this guy to death, right? Right? Does anything happen? Oh, things do happen. Things definitely do happen. Okay, sorry. Whew. Sorry, spoilers. Oh, this Nia is self-care right in front of you. What's she doing? Hello? She has Dead Hard though, doesn't she? Or is that the other Nia? She didn't even Dead Hard. I don't know if she just didn't have it or if she just didn't use it. What the hell is she doing? Why would she self-care right in your face like that? Hello? Bruh, hello? Okay, you're gonna hook this guy. Okay, it's gonna say, yeah, you're gonna hook him right in front of the door. So this is kind of risky. Well, never mind. He's dead on hook. Doesn't matter. Not risky at all. He's actually dead on hook. And then these other guys surely just get out, right? Like they're just gonna go to the gate and get out, I believe. All right, so how many of them had flashlights? That's kind of what I want to see. Okay, 2 of them had flashlights. I guess that's why you brought Lightborn, because 2 of them had flashlights. I am gonna go ahead and say, right off the get-go, Lightborn's a waste of a perk slot. Flashlight blinding is not that big of a deal. I would recommend, you don't have to listen to me. If you want to say, yeah, fuck your advice, I'm just going to keep running Lightborn, that's totally okay. If you just like, if blinding just like pisses you off or makes you angry or you just like don't want to deal with it, you could waste a perk slot on Lightborn if you want. But flashlighting and flashlight blinds, they have a ton of counterplay that you can just do. Like you don't need like a perk, like you could just counterplay them. And on top of that, the counterplay usually results in getting more downs. Like if you're a killer that knows how to counterplay flashlights and survivors are running around with flashlights trying to like bully you, you'll end up just like killing them all. Like it literally gives you free kills rather than them like splitting up and doing gens, right? So I'm gonna leave a card on the top right now, and also I'll leave a link in the description for my guide to flashlights. It teaches you both how to use flashlights as a survivor and also how to counterplay them as killer. So I would highly recommend looking into that and looking into flashlight counterplay because it's a really good thing to know how to do, and it can save you an entire perk slot that you can use on other things, right? For instance, Corrupt Intervention in this situation would have done wonders for you. Your early game was terrible, and you lost like 3 gens like super quickly. Corrupt Intervention could have helped a lot with that. Or even like Sloppy Butcher would have been great. Like, just there's so many perks that you can replace Lightborn with that would have done so much for you. But yeah, again though, it's not all the perks. Like the perks aren't 100% the reason why this game went bad. I do think that the early game was like really rough. I I think like this play right here was huge. Like there was still 5 gens at this point. This play right here was huge. Like you should have had it down here, but instead this chase went on for so like that happened at what, like 145. This chase went on until now. It was like another 30 seconds of a chase, which might not seem like much, but 30 seconds, like if all 3 survivors are on 1 gen, they can get it done in 30 seconds, you know? If all 3 survivors are on separate gens, they can each do half a gen in 30 seconds. Like it is a lot in the grand scheme of things. So you gotta like shit like that's rough, man. Like having a chase extend that much longer when you should have had it down is really rough. Like I know it's a very minor mistake, like swinging at a dead hard, but that costs you a lot. And then also, like the gen kicking scenario. I think the gen kickings, because you started doing pretty good. Like you were doing okay. You were getting some traps down. You were pressuring people. You were getting some downs. But I think the situation here where like you prioritize this gen kick over anything else, this was just weird. I don't know why you did this. You let him get so much distance. You could have had another down, but you didn't. And that was just a weird decision too. I don't really know why you prioritize that over the chase. It's a big thing. I think people need to understand, like, the way map pressure works is like regressing the generators is not always the best. The best way to get map pressure is just to get downs, right? Like if you're downing people really quickly, then it won't even matter if the gens are regressing or not, because they're never going to have fucking time to work on them, because they're constantly going to be unhooking and saving each other, right? You can force them into altruism by getting downs rather than kicking gens and then doing like, here you basically kick the gen and then you just end up with no chase. Like you had a good chase and you end up with no chase. Now there's no map pressure. Like you have 0 pressure right now. You're just wandering around the map, not chasing anyone. Everybody is free to do whatever they want. You know, you're like setting another trap. All 4 survivors right now could all be doing gens. They could all be doing gens. They could all be doing gens. And then now you start chasing somebody. Like, you just, like instead of taking a chase where you can get it down, you spend, man, how long? Man, how long? Actually, how long? Wait, where'd this start? Hold on. Shit, man. This happens at like 420. Fucking blaze it. This happens at like 420-ish. Like right here at like 425, you like you can have a chase. You can have a chase and you can probably down that Nia in like 15 to 20 seconds if you play it well, right? And then that would get you more map pressure. But instead, you literally you don't apply any pressure to anybody. You don't take any chases. You don't do any. There's no pressure applied to anybody up until like pretty much the 5-minute mark. Like 4:55 is when you first apply pressure, and you only apply pressure by chasing them away. You don't even get it down, right? Like this is just like the early stages of applying pressure. Like you're basically only applying pressure to this guy. Every other guy on the map can be doing gens. So instead of like having a inversely, just to explain a little bit more, right now at this exact time, like this is like 30 seconds later, right? This is more than 30 seconds later. This is like 45 seconds later. Inversely, at this exact time, instead of chasing one guy and that being the only pressure you had, you could have had, I can't remember which one's the Nia, but you could have had this Nia on a hook. You could have been chasing somebody else, and one of the people that weren't being chased would have had to have been going for the hook. So instead of having pressure on one person, you could have had pressure on 3 people right now, had you chased that Nia. But instead, based on decisions you made, there's just no pressure. There's just no pressure on the map. Like these guys are just free to do gens all they want. Like they're running around all willy-nilly, not a care in the world. They don't need to save anybody. They don't need to do anything. They're just like, yeah, man, let's just go do gens. And it shows because the gens get done very fast, you know? This is a really good example of, you know, gen pressure and how to stop yourself from getting, you know, quote unquote gen rushed or whatever that people talk about a lot. So yeah, I would say the biggest takeaways from this gameplay review are, first off, your perks are not great, I don't think. Even like save the best for last is questionable. I get the idea. You're wanting to save the best for last in Dying Light because you want to leave the obsession alone and get a bunch of stacks of both, right? Because if you chase everybody but the obsession nonstop, then you get a bunch of stacks of both of these and they can snowball a lot. But again, like that's how realistic is that? Like it doesn't happen in this game. You get in multiple situations where you have to hit the obsession. If you end up losing all your stacks, you end up not getting a lot of stacks of Dying Light. Dying Light isn't really useful because your early game sucks. So like you can't really get stacks early. You know, you don't even start getting stacks until like mid game, which sucks. So honestly, if I were you, I would literally scrap all 3 of these fucking perks. Like, you can maybe keep save the best for last. You can maybe keep that one. I don't think that's a terrible idea, but like these 2 perks, I think could be easily scrapped for something more useful, like Sloppy Butcher, Corrupt Intervention, even like tracking perks to help you find people. If you want things like, I mean, you can pick whatever tracking perk you like. If you know how to use Whispers, you can run Whispers, Barbecue and Chili, Discordance, like whatever you prefer for tracking perks, you can run that. Enduring will help you a lot in chases. But even if you want to just stack slowdown, like Corrupt Intervention, Sloppy Butcher would also be great, you know? There's a lot of different options for you to run there. I just think these ones are not getting you a lot of value, to be honest. So, yeah. So, the perk build, as well as your decision making and basically your, you know, I think you need to trust, basically, I think you need to trust your chase more. Every time I've seen you get into chase this game, you do really well in the chase. Like, you down people quickly when you just chase them, you know? Like, you do really well. I feel like if you just chase people more, you'll probably get more downs, and you'll probably end up like getting a lot of map pressure. I feel like I'll also throw in a video and possibly another card for my map pressure guide as well. I'll throw a link to that below as well, and maybe leave a card for it too. I don't know if you can leave multiple cards. I'm still learning how YouTube works, so I don't know, but I'll leave some links for that as well, and I think you should check those out because getting downs is way more valuable. And this is the part of the video where I start going in circles and saying the same things over and over again, so I'm gonna go ahead and take this opportunity to wrap the video up instead of saying the same things over and over again. Thank you so much for submitting. I had a good time reviewing this. Thank you so much for submitting. Again, don't be an asshole in the comments. I think I'm just going to start literally just like muting people that are being dicks in the comments. That shit is so annoying. Stop it. There's no reason to be an asshole. Knock it off. Okay. Anyway, thank you so much for submitting. If you guys want to submit footage yourself, I have a channel in my Discord now. If you join my Discord, it's linked below. It's discord.gg/OhTofu. If you guys want to join that Discord, we have a whole channel basically dedicated to these where you can post a link to your YouTube video. There's a pinned comment that'll explain to you what we're looking for as far as review footage, so feel free to look at that as well. If you guys like the video, remember to give it a like, sub to the channel if you want as well, because I'm uploading every other day, and this is the longest goodbye ever. I hope you guys have a good rest of your night. I'm out of here. See ya. Take care. See ya. I'm out of here. See ya. I'll see you later. See ya.